Hello children, welcome back to our online classes. So, as you all know that we are discussing the respiration in organisms, and already in our previous classes we have discussed about the respiration, and also we have discussed about the human respiratory system. So, let me recall some aspects which we have discussed in the previous class. So, what is this cellular respiration? So, the respiration is called as a cellular respiration because it takes place in the cells of an organism, and we know that the organism can made up of the millions of cells, and since the respiration takes place in the cells of an organism, we call it as the cellular respiration. So what is the cellular respiration? So the cellular respiration means the process of breakdown of food with the release of energy. Okay, so that is called as cellular respiration, which takes place in the cell. And here there are two types of respiration are there. One is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So aerobic respiration means the organisms which the respiration takes place with the use of oxygen. When the breakdown of food takes place in the presence of oxygen, then we call that as the aerobic respiration, and the organisms which can breathe aerobically means in the presence of oxygen. So the organisms are called aerobes. And the anaerobic respiration, here the breakdown of food takes place without the use of oxygen, and the organisms are called anaerobes. So likewise we can give the example of for aerobic respiration, the aerobes, the commonly we, the human beings, we are the aerobes, and also the anaerobic respiration we can give yeast as an example, and when they respire anaerobically, they releases alcohol so that the yeasts are used to produce the wine and beers. So this is what the aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and also we have discussed about the human respiratory system. So in the human respiratory system, we breathe through the lungs. We have lungs to breathe. So they are the breathing organs. So we have nostrils in our nose, and through the nostrils we breathe the air, and that air reaches to the lungs which are present in the chest cavity, and again the rib movements takes place because the lungs are protected by the ribs. So their ribs will be moved upwards and outwards. They move up and outwards, and the diaphragm, which is the floor of the this respiratory system, so that will move down. And when we exhale the air, the ribs move down and inwards, and the diaphragm comes to its former position, and the air rushes out. So likewise the respiration takes place, and we commonly know that we inhale the oxygen and we exhale the carbon dioxide. So this is the common fact we know. But how can we determine whether we release the carbon dioxide? Yes, so that I will explain one activity. You just do according to that, and you will come to know whether we exhale the carbon dioxide or not. So for this you need a test tube in your home. If the test tubes are not available commonly, because we do not store the test tubes and all in the home. So you just take a plastic bottle or plastic cup which can be transparent. Any glass or any plastic cup you can take. The requirements I will tell you now. The requirements for this activity are that, you just dissolve that, and then you will get the lime water. When you mix the lime with the water, then you will get the lime water. Then by using the straw, you just, in the cup what you are using for the activity, by using the straw, you just gently blow. Okay, so by using the straw, you just gently blow the air into this lime water. So when you do this, the lime water, it turns milky. Milky means it turns to how the milky white is there. You know how the milk, the color of the milk. So lime water, when we blow the air gently, when we blow means we are blowing, means exhaling, so that the exhaled air containing the carbon dioxide. So if our exhaled air contains the carbon dioxide, then the lime water turns milky. So the color will changes to milky white, so that it make us sure that we are exhaling the carbon dioxide. So this is what we can do the activity to understand that we are exhaling the carbon dioxide. And also I said we inhale the oxygen and we exhale the carbon dioxide means the inhaled air, it is not only the oxygen but other gases are also present, and also the exhaled air, it is having the carbon dioxide, but it is the major quantity, but whole exhaled air will not be the carbon dioxide, but the major quantity will be the carbon dioxide. So likewise, now I will tell you the percentage of the gases in inhaled and exhaled air. How much percentage of the oxygen and carbon dioxide will be there? So this what we can say, the percentage of gases in inhaled and exhaled air. Inhaled and exhaled air. So how much quantity, how much the percentage of oxygen we breathe and how much percentage of carbon dioxide we exhale, that I will give you now. So everything that will be whenever we inhale and exhale, that is by the lungs. So through the lungs, so here we can divide the carbon dioxide and the oxygen. So now we can take here it as the inhaled air, and here we can write the exhaled air. So now we can write the oxygen. How much percentage of oxygen it is having in the inhaled air? So that is 21% of oxygen we inhale. When we take the air inside, so it contains 21% of oxygen, and with this oxygen it is having 0.04% of carbon dioxide. So the percentage of carbon dioxide will be of 0.04%. So it is in the inhaled air. So when we inhale the air, we commonly say we inhale oxygen, but it not only contains the oxygen, it is having 0.04% of carbon dioxide. And when we exhale the air, we are not only exhale the carbon dioxide, along with that we exhale the oxygen is of 21% and carbon dioxide is of 0.04% in the inhaled air, and that is in the exhaled air it is containing 16.4% of oxygen and 4.4% of carbon dioxide. And earlier I have explained you about the activity which shows the exhaled air containing the carbon dioxide. Now I will attach a video clip with this of that activity which show the exhaled air containing carbon dioxide. Let me show that. Now we can discuss to demonstrate that exhaled air has carbon dioxide. For this the things required are test tube, straw, lime water and procedure. Take a test tube and pour some lime water into it, and take a straw and exhale air into the lime water in the test tube. You will notice that the lime water in the test tube becomes milky white. So lime water turns milky white only when the carbon dioxide is mixed with it. Thus it is obvious from the above activity that exhaled air has carbon dioxide. I hope you understood how the lime water turns milky when we blow the air in the lime water. So this will, by this we can understand that the exhaled air containing carbon dioxide. And now we can discuss about the breathing in other organisms which do not have the lungs. So other than lungs, in some other organisms are there, they don't have the lungs, but even though they are breathing. And how this breathing mechanism takes place in the other organisms which do not have the lungs. About that we can discuss in our class. First we can discuss with the cockroach. So now we can start the breathing in other organisms. So the diagram which you are seeing here, this is the respiratory system of cockroach. So here the internally, if we see the cockroach, we can see the respiratory system like this. So this is what the picture shows, the respiratory system of cockroach. And here we know that the goats, horse and human beings and some other animals like the snakes, birds, they are all having the frogs and lizards. They all are having the lungs, and through the lungs they used to respire. That means they exchange the gases. They breathe through the lungs. But what about the insects and other some organisms? So this cockroach, it is having spiracles to exchange the gas. So the tiny openings are present, so they are called as the spiracles. So these insects which do not have the lungs, they have the tiny holes for the exchange of gases. They are called as the spiracles. So here you can see the small openings are there here. So they are called as the spiracles. And this, when they exchange the gases, these spiracles, the tiny openings what are there, through that the air will rushes in and it will move through the canal that we call as the trachea. So here the track is there. So through that track the exchange of and also it is the oxygen or the gas, it will transfer through this track. So that is called as the trachea. And this is how the exchange of gas takes place in some of the other organisms. So here in this, the oxygen, this will comes through the spiracles and the tracheal tubes will be there here, and through that tracheal tubes the gas diffuses and it reaches all the cells of the organism. And also in the same way, the carbon dioxide that also rushes by the tracheal tubes and then it will move through the spiracles. So likewise, the respiration takes place in the cockroaches and in some insects who are having the spiracles for their exchange of gases. Now we can discuss about the earthworms. So you know very well that the earthworms, they are made by only the muscles. So here no bones we can see in the earthworms. The earthworms are made by the muscles. So now we can discuss the breathing in earthworm. So the earthworms can exchange their gases through the skin. Earthworms can exchange the gases through their skin. So for earthworms, they do not have any lungs to exchange the gas since their body is having only the muscles. So the earthworms can exchange the gases through their skin. So if we touch the earthworm, it will be soft and moist and slimy if we touch. So it is moist to touch and also slimy, and it can exchange the gases through the skin. And even some other organisms are there. For example, frog. Frog is also having the pair of lungs like human beings. So how we have the lungs? Like the same way, the frogs are also having the lungs. Then also they can breathe through the skin. So do you know what we can call for such organisms which can breathe both on land as well as underwater? What we can call for them? Yes, they are the amphibians. So for frogs we can call as amphibians because they can breathe both on land as well as under the water. So when they are present on the land, they use their lungs to breathe, and when they are underwater, they use their skin. So the organisms which can live both on land as well as water, they are called as amphibians, and this frog is the good example for the amphibian since it can use its lungs and skin for the breathing. So when it is present on the land, it can breathe through its lungs, and when it is present in the water, it can breathe through its moist and slimy skin. So this is what the respiration in the earthworm. So earthworm also do not have the lungs, so it can breathe through the skin. So this is how the respiration takes place in the earthworm. And sometimes we oftenly see that the whales and the dolphins, oftenly they used to come out of the water. So you might have watched it in the TV programs or any of the kinds of like that. So if you visited that place directly and all, so you might have seen that the whales and dolphins, they oftenly used to come out from the water. So why should they come like that? So see, we say that the fishes will breathe under the water, but some organisms like the dolphins and whales, they do not have different organs are there to breathe. The animals which are living under the water, so they have some of the organs to breathe, but these about breathing under water. So how the animals use under the how the animals used to breathe under water. Breathing under water. So how the animals breathe under the water. So for this purpose they have an organs called gills, and these gills are the breathing organs of the underwater animals like fishes and all. So they have gills. So now I will show you how the gills are present. Suppose if it is the fish, okay, the fishes are like that, the rough diagram of fish it is. So here the gills are present here, okay, the gills will be present here. So likewise, okay. So likewise the gills are present in the fishes. So these will help them to exchange the gases. So here what happened, these gills, here what are there? They are well supplied with the blood vessels. So they are made up of the muscles and they are well supplied with the blood vessels. So when the oxygen which is present in the water, which is dissolved in the water is having some dissolved oxygen in it, and these fishes are use that oxygen to breathe. And when the water which is containing the oxygen, when it enters the gills, so these are the gills. So when it enters the gills, so here the breakdown of oxygen takes place, and it is supplied with the, means it is having blood vessels here, it is connected with the blood vessels. So this oxygen which is breakdown here, that can be rushes to all the parts of its body. So likewise the fishes, they use oxygen for the respiration, and there also the breakdown of food takes place with the help of the oxygen. Like way the fishes are breathed. And how about the plants? So how do the plants breathe? So now you already discussed that the plants are the producers, right? Why we call as producers? Normally we call plants as the producers. So why should we call them as the producers? Because the plants can make their own food, and we are not able to prepare our own food by the process of photosynthesis, and so we get food from the plants. So these plants are the main sources for the food, because they are the autotrophs and they prepare their own food, and also they provide the food for the other organisms also. And how do they breathe? We know that during the photosynthesis they release the oxygen and they take the carbon dioxide by the organs called, so they are having some parts for that, so that we call as the stomata. Yes, these are the stomata, and through the stomata the exchange of gas takes place, and these are present in the leaves. So by using these stomata they exchange the gas. So when the photosynthesis process takes place, they use carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and which is released by the animals, and they use it for the photosynthesis, oxygen from the atmosphere. See, because there also the plant, since it is a living thing, it is also need food, and there also the need of energy takes place. They also need energy because they are also living things. And when the energy releases, when the breakdown of food takes place in the presence of oxygen. So for that purpose, they also take the oxygen. And how they will take the oxygen? We commonly know that the plants also exchange the gases, but what we know, during the photosynthesis, they take the carbon dioxide through the stomata and they releases the oxygen. But plants also need oxygen, and how they will get the oxygen, now we can see here. So here the plants are having the roots, right? So the roots, they are having the root hair. So here I will draw the diagram of that. So this is what the root of a plant. So this is the root hair, and so this is how. So here these are the soil particles. Okay, and here also we can draw the soil particles. So these are what? The soil particles, and this is the root hair. So we can write here, these are the soil particles, and this is root hair, and this is the space in air, or we can say air space. So here in the soil some air space will be there. So means the gaps are there in between the soil particles. So we know that already we have discussed in our previous, means in the first term. So that the soil is having some means it is having some spaces so that it can hold the water and air. So since the air and water is present, means the soil is having some space between them. So the soil particles, these soil particles have some space between them, and they are called as the air space. And in this air space, some of the air is present. So the roots, they are also present in the soil. So these root hairs, they will trap the oxygen which is present in this air space, and that they also trap the oxygen, and the breakdown of food takes place and they releases the energy. So likewise the plants can also exchange the gases. So this is what the respiration takes place in all the organisms. So with this, what we can conclude that, so here we have discussed about the respiration in all the organisms. We have discussed about the human beings and the organisms which are present under the water, and the organisms which do not have the lungs, and also the plants. And each and every organisms here, they need the oxygen. So why they need the oxygen? To break down the food and to release the energy. So this is what we can understood by the chapter respiration in organisms. So oxygen is very important for all the organisms for the process of respiration. So with this I will conclude my class. So I hope you have understood, and even though if you have any queries regarding this, you just contact me and clarify your doubts. Thank you. Have a nice day.